With WWE Crown Jewel less than 2 weeks away, management has been hard at work setting up the feuds that will occupy the card. Last week saw Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley engage in a massive battle that destroyed part of the ringside area. The two powerhouses have been in the ring together before, but a high-profile singles match is something fans have been wanting for years. We also saw the return of Elias. A rebranded Baron Corbin was introduced by JBL. The Miz took out Dexter Lumis before their scheduled match, and Damage Control continued its quest to dominate Raw. Let's take a look at how WWE followed up on all of that on tonight's Monday Night Raw, for This is Ridiculously Raw. Welcome, everybody, to Ridiculously Raw, the most must-see show on YouTube and StreamYard.com today. I am your host, Anthony Florio, joined, as always, by good old MF Michael Fletcher and the Phenom Michael Bullock, fresh off another one of our legendary Raw chats. It's been a while since we've had one, but we had one tonight, and there's nothing more to say, gentlemen, except let's dive on into tonight's edition of Monday Night Raw as we continue on the road to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, and Crown Jewel. As Raw was live tonight from the Spectrum Center in Charlotte, North Carolina, the home of the NBA Charlotte Hornets, on the USA Network. And we started it off with a 2-for-1 deal. The Judgment Day cuts a promo. Of course, Dominic really stood out during this promo as he referred to himself as this generation's Eddie Guerrero. And then it led to, we didn't have much advertised for tonight's show ahead of time, but our first match of the night was one of those two things that was advertised. And this is an MF special because MF knows the history of the Bullet Club, and we got it right here, as it was Carl Anderson, the Machine Gun, Carl Anderson of the OC, squaring off against Judgment Day's Finn Balor. Finn Balor wins the match, 17 minutes and 15 seconds. All right. Wow. The promo segment and match combined to fill up the first half hour of the show, so Balor and Anderson had plenty of time to work. Balor was able to score the win after some mayhem at ringside caused a few distractions. This bout had some great spots and lots of energy. It was a great way to kick things off. The promo was nothing special, but the match was tons of fun. Rhea Ripley got some heat when she said Dom was all man. WWE is doing a lot of implying about the nature of their relationship without stating that they are a couple. It would be so nice if WWE did more with New Japan so they could fully acknowledge the history of the Bullet Club without just making minor allusions to it. Carl Anderson is one of those guys who can do a little bit of everything, so it's hard to ever classify him as a particular kind of wrestler. The Dragon Screw Anderson hit over the middle rope looked nasty. Anderson has a great spine buster. Arn would be proud. He also hits a nice flying neck breaker from the middle turnbuckle. But the highlight of all of this, it wasn't even what Anderson and Balor did. It's what happened outside of the ring during the scrum. Rhea Ripley body slamming and hitting Doc Gallows with a textbook body slam was an impressive feat of strength. And with the advent of social media nowadays, I guarantee you this is going to get played back a gazillion times now, just like 35 years ago when Hulk Hogan body slammed Andre the Giant at WrestleMania 3. But nonetheless, great match here. I'm going to give it 4 stars for the effort. One of the fights of the night. Great way to start. So-so promo, even though Dominic stating that he was this generation's Eddie Guerrero was definitely the standout moment during that. But, wow. Not much more to say here. 4 stars. MF, come on in. You know the history of the Bullet Club. You know these two. Finn Balor, Carl Anderson, charter members of the Bullet Club back in the day. And
yeah.
But more importantly, what happened on the outside of the ring? Rhea Ripley body slamming Doc Gallows. Wow.
Yeah, it gave us something to really sink our teeth into. It was a 4-star match, as you alluded to. It was a great battle, and everything went good. Everything was fluid. It was consistent. It looked amazing. I don't think there's really anything bad to say about this match. I enjoyed it. I thought it was great action, and this is exactly what it needed it to be. A great jump off for Monday Night Raw, because of the fact that it was going up against Monday Night Football, even though, uh, I, especially for us fans in the New England area, because they had their eyes glued to the football game tonight more than usual, because of who was playing. Um, so, I mean, yeah, at the end of the day, I thought they really gave us a great start to this show. So, yeah, really nothing more to add. And Michael Bullock, I'll give it the 4 and say it's yours.
Yeah, I mean, the promo was good. I mean, obviously, I mean, Dominic Mysterio, I mean, got the major heat. I mean, my goodness, I mean, those fans were basically all over him, and basically he called himself this generation's Eddie Guerrero. Um, I'm not quite sure about that. We'll see what happens with that as time goes on, but man, I mean, and then of course the verbal battle between uh, the OC and the Judgment Day, and then yeah, you get to this match. It was a 4-star match. I mean, it was a solid match, and I certainly enjoyed it. And yeah, what stood out was obviously what Rhea Ripley did when she body slammed 300-pound Luke Gallows. I mean, she literally picked him up with ease. I mean, it was definitely not the body slam heard around the world. I mean, that still was Hogan and Andre. Uh, but it was definitely impressive, and Rhea's shown that she can handle her business with the men. I mean, we've seen her do that on different occasions. So yeah, so that was impressive. I mean, and the match was impressive. 4 stars for me. So it's yours, Florio.
All right, we're gonna bypass this next stuff here because this was straight out of McMagma, if you will. Miz comes out, he cuts a promo, interrupted by Johnny Gargano, and then interrupted by R-Truth, and it led into a match with R-Truth and the Miz. R-Truth wins the match 2 minutes and 45 seconds after a distraction from Johnny Gargano, where he was making himself look like Dexter Loomis. So, all right. As the host of the show, I'll do what I usually do. This was somewhat entertaining, but it didn't do much to advance the storyline. R-Truth won't gain any momentum from this win, so the only thing this did was make the Miz look scared. And the only standout thing for me was Kevin Patrick on commentary acknowledging that the Miz and R-Truth used to be tag team partners. Because we know at times it feels like WWE just ignores stuff like that for no reason. But we all remember back in 2011 when the two of them were in the main event of the 2011 Survivor Series in Madison Square Garden against The Rock and John Cena. So, but in all seriousness, this was an absolute dud. This was hell. There was a squash match that was actually better than this. That's it. So that was a dud. That was the worst fight of the night, and I think somebody might have let McMagma in the back door somewhere because that was straight out of his file, no doubt. So we're not even gonna dignify that any further. So with all that, let's get into our next match, and we will address this. It was Austin Theory squaring off against Mustafa Ali, and Mustafa Ali picks up the win in or I should say Austin Theory. I'm sorry. Austin Theory wins the match in an even 10 minutes. Seth freaking Rollins, the difference maker, distracted the referee long enough for Austin Theory to, in your words, MF, bungee Mustafa Ali on the top rope, and that led to the A-Town down. Theory picks up the win, roughly an even 10 minutes. So, and then after the match, Mustafa Ali and Seth Rollins, Seth Rollins was going to town on Mustafa Ali. It looked like he had him, beaten down and all that, but Ali came back and brought the fight to Seth Rollins. Wow. MF, Theory winning the match in roughly an even 10 minutes, thanks to that distraction by Rollins, leading to the bungee in the A-Town down for the win.
Yeah, I would say this was about 2.5, 2 3/4 of a star. Solid match, good fight, good battle. Could have been a lot more better, but it is what it is. But then after that, like you said, Mustafa Rollins tried to make a point out of Ali, but Ali came right back and was like, I ain't having that. No way. I'm bringing the fight to you now. And sure as hell did. Very impressive, very good beat down, good brawl. It looks like these two men are on a collision course for maybe a United States heavyweight title fight. Maybe at Clash at maybe at Crown Jewel. I don't know because I know with Ali it's a little going over to Saudi Arabia is a little different. Especially for Ali, it's kind of a little bit of a So I don't know. We'll see, but nothing more to say. And Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, 2.5 to 3 for the effort here. I mean, it was a fine match. I mean, and it looked like Mustafa Ali was on his way to picking up the victory, but Seth freaking Rollins basically had his say on it, and in Theory got the win. And then, like you said, afterwards, Rollins beat down on Mustafa Ali, and every time he just kept coming back, and Ali basically stood tall. So yeah, I could definitely see these two on a collision course for Crown Jewel. So we'll wait and see on it. So there's really nothing more to say. It's yours, Florio.
This match had its moments, but if it was supposed to help Ali in his feud with Rollins, it didn't accomplish its goal. Rollins and Ali fought after the match until the U.S. champ retreated to the back. That's really all there is to say on that. Rollins acknowledging his history with Theory from the Thunderdome era was a nice bit of continuity. The spot when Ali interrupted Theory's selfie was funny and will probably look great if WWE gets the footage from the phone. And that's really all there is to say on that. I'm going to give it a solid 3 for the efforts. So that's really all there is to say on that. Then we saw Omos in a squash match against 4 Hammerneggers. Omos squashed them in 1:40. Unsurprisingly, Omos easily destroyed all 4 men to score the win. While this was unnecessary, the one good thing that can be said was that Omos looked decent, especially compared to how green he looked at this point last year. So, we're just going to leave it at that. That was a dud. So that was the other dud of the night. Then we had Elias in his first match as Elias in over a year. He went up against Chad Gable of the Alpha Academy, sporting new shirts, by the way. A new shoes shirt. And yes, you better believe I'm going to be all over that soon enough. But all kidding aside, Elias wins the match in 9.5 minutes. So Michael Bullock, Elias wins it 9.5 minutes. Otis attacked after the match, but then Riddle came out. So maybe Riddle and Elias against the Alpha Academy down the road?
Yeah, I can definitely see it happening down the road here. So I'm going to give this about another 2.5 to 3. I mean, this was another solid match, and yeah, not bad for Elias in his first match in over a year. So yeah, so it definitely builds towards Elias and Matt Riddle going up against the Alpha Academy. So yeah, there's really nothing more for me to say. So it's yours, Florio.
I'll give this about another 3 for the effort. I mean, the rest of the match was solid and gave Elias a chance to show us what he can do again. And we addressed that Alpha Academy attacked Elias, but Riddle made the save and helped take out Alpha Academy after. It's so weird how Elias and Ezekiel are the same person, but somehow Elias has 100% more charisma. The backslide is one of those moves that is hard to do with a person who is smaller than the one performing the move. The one Elias used on Gable was a bit awkward. Gable has so much more power than it looks like he should have. It's wild. And the knee Elias hit on Gable as he was going for a moonsault off the top rope was an awesome spot. And I believe should have been the finish. But other than that, I'm going to give it a solid 3 for the effort. So not much more to say. MF, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it was all right. It was kind of what you expected it. Really nothing amazing here. So, no, nothing more to say. Anthony, it's yours.
All right. And moving on to the next matchup, which was, of course, JBL, the Hall of Famer JBL. As we all know, he's now the mouthpiece for Baron Corbin. And Baron Corbin went one-on-one with Johnny Gargano. And Baron Corbin wins the match, 14 minutes and 10 seconds. Color me surprised. Another great outing from Corbin. But then again, look who he was in the ring with. Last week, he was in there with Dolph Ziggler, solid worker. In there against someone who I believe is a smidgen better than Ziggler, and that's Johnny Gargano, based on his NXT work. But I got to give it 3.5 stars. I mean, this was a good match with a steady pace and some great spots. These two men work well together because they both know how to make each other look good with their respective styles. And JBL ended up being the difference maker, tripping Gargano on the apron to give Corbin the setup to hit End of Days for the win. And you have to give JBL credit for always being one of those guys who puts other people over on commentary, even when he is supposed to be an antagonist. And Johnny Gargano had a couple of funny moments. He first called JBL MC Hammer Pants. That had no right being as funny as it was. And Gargano dancing with JBL's hat on the announce table is one of those moments you will either think is very funny or very dumb. But, you know, you mock JBL and you poke that bear. Yeah, you think that bear's not going to do anything about it? He's a Hall of Famer, for goodness sakes. And was one of the longest WWE champions in SmackDown history. So, yeah. So, but other than that, very, very good match here. 3.5 stars easily for this. I could probably call this maybe the third best fight of the night, if I'm going to be honest with you. So, not much more to say. MF, another week and another more than solid outing for Baron Corbin. And you know, we talked about it on the show last week. JBL has definitely been doing wonders for Baron Corbin.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Look, we gotta give credit where credit's due. Corbin is gotten better in the ring, and yeah, utilizing with JBL has actually worked. So yeah, solid performance. It was a very good match. 3.5 stars for me. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, this was a solid match here. I mean, but then again, look who Corbin was in there with, and Johnny Gargano here. And yeah, you definitely got to give JBL credit. I mean, he's really made Baron Corbin look better than he was before, and him being the mouthpiece is definitely doing wonders. And who knows, maybe one day we need to start taking Corbin very seriously again. So we'll wait and see how it all goes. So there's really nothing more for me to say. So it's yours, Florio.
All right. And let's see. And the broadcast team hype Brock Lesnar will be on next week's show. Happy Halloween. Ho, ho, ho. That's all I'm saying. All right. Main event of the evening. This was the big match that was advertised. It's a non-title match. We got to make that real clear. It's a non-title match. This was not for the Raw Women's Championship. Raw Women's Champion Bianca Belair versus Bayley. Of course, Women's Tag Team Champions Dakota Kai and Io Sky. Where Bayley goes, they go, as we all know. Winner of the match. Ready for this, guys? In roughly 23 minutes, Bayley wins the match. And gentlemen, you didn't think it could get better than that? Oh, it does. After the match was over, well, before the match, near the end of the match, we see this mysterious woman flying off the top rope as referee Danilo Anfibio in his pompadour. Yeah, Mr. Danilo Anfibio was in the process of ejecting Dakota and Io from ringside because he caught them with their hands in the cookie jar. We see this mysterious woman fly off the top rope and take down Danilo Anfibio and Dakota Kai and Io Sky. And we were like, who is this woman? And then the woman comes back into the ring, and lo and behold, it's Nikki Cross, the Twisted Sister, Nikki Cross. And that prompted Jessica Carr to come out to count the 1, 2, 3. Bayley gets the win. Roughly 23 minutes. MF, obviously, fight of the night, of course, number one. Mm-hmm. Number two, obvious championship committee moment for Bayley. And third, and number three, no, Nikki ASH is dead. The Twisted Sister is back and alive and well. Oh boy, business has picked up in the Raw Women's
Division. And not only that, she is going to cause havoc in the Raw Women's Division. If anybody thought that Bayley probably is the next women's champion, she might. If Nikki has anything to do with it, she won't be the next Raw Women's Champion. The one thing that you noticed about the whole thing was, number one, everybody has this illusion that Damage Control is running Monday Night Raw. I think the thing is now, more than ever, it's no longer that. Now that Nikki has shedded the Nikki ASH and is back to being the Twisted Sister, Nikki Cross, that might be a scary proposition. And the problem is, if you're Damage Control, you don't have a plan B, a plan C, or a plan D for Nikki Cross. I don't think nobody has a plan B, C, or D for Nikki Cross. Nikki's a wild card. And you notice, she went after Damage Control. She went after all three members. And went after Bianca Belair. That tells you one thing. She doesn't give a damn who you are. You are all in the line of fire. She doesn't give a crap who you are, what you think, face or heel. That's a dangerous proposition. Because Nikki Cross is going to be the biggest wild card in all of this. If Bayley wants to win the title, she's going to have the eyes in the back of her head. And having her two running mates, her two running buddies, might not even be enough to even stop her. So, I hate to say this, but they're going to have to try to eliminate Nikki. That might be even a mistake in itself. But I'll say this. This was a crazy match. This was a crazy main event. 23 minutes is an incredible time, especially for a women's fight. This is easily 4.5 stars. Won't go any more higher than that because there was too much interference and everything else. And the overbook, I can't turn around that. It was a great match. 4.5. Bullock, is yours.
Yeah, 4.5 stars. This was easily the fight of the night, but yeah, I mean, Bayley might be once again to challenge the champion, but now with Nikki Cross back, the Twisted Sister, she might have something to say about that. Because not only did she attack Bianca, but also Bayley as well. So, yeah, that Twisted Sister is going to cause major havoc on Monday Night Raw. And that women's division just got bolstered by this. Nikki ASH is dead. And Nikki Cross, the Twisted Sister, is back. And I would not want to cross paths with her because, I mean, because Fletch, what is Nikki Cross when she's crazy like she was when she was with Sanity?
Oh my God. Yeah.
As Jay would say.
Oh yeah.
She's crazier than a pet coon.
Yep.
Yeah, and
goofier.
And to me, I mean, yeah, I mean, if she becomes the number one contender, oh my gosh, I mean, I think Bianca could be in for the fight of her life. But we'll see. We'll see how this all plays out. So there's really nothing more for me to say. It's yours, Florio.
Fight of the night, hands down, 4.5 stars. The two rivals know each other well, so they were quick to lock up and get right into the action. Their chemistry was on full display throughout the match as they demonstrated exactly why they deserved to have one of the most high-profile feuds on the Red brand. Gentlemen, they were given 3 full segments to work, so they put on quite the show. This match never slowed down, but it didn't feel rushed either. They struck the right balance of quick sequences and moments of selling. Without the commercial breaks, this match might have felt like it was just a bit too long, but the breaks helped. While we saw a few too many screwy finishes during this show, seeing Nikki brought back and put into a big storyline right away is a great sign. She attacked Bayley just to show she has no allegiance to anyone, and the show went off the air with her staring at the camera. Bianca's back handspring always looks good, but the way Bayley laid her out with a running forearm after she did one was awesome. Belair did a good job selling the moment when Bayley yanked her arm over the top rope. Bayley is an underrated striker. Her hits don't make much of a noise, but they always look good. And Belair should start having hair versus hair matches after she loses the title. It would be a cool storyline if she was able to keep successfully defending the one thing her opponents always use against her. That's just for future reference. But for right now, incredible match. 4.5 stars. Championship committee moment, gentlemen, by hook or crook. You got to believe Bayley has been vaulted right back in the number one contender status and will get another shot at Bianca Belair in the Raw Women's Championship at the earliest possible date. Could it be Saudi Arabia? Could it be a future Raw? I don't know. We're just gonna have to wait and find out. But 4.5 stars. And with that, we get into our overall review. Michael Bullock, you started off. Another week, another solid show.
Yeah, I mean, another week, another solid show. I'll give this 7.5 to 8. I mean, this was another solid show. I mean, yeah, I mean the R-Truth Miz, that whole thing I could have done without, but other than that, that's the only. Well, and also, of course, that Omos squashing those ham and egg or jabronis. Those are the only lowlights of the show, but everything else was solid to good to great. So 7.5 to 8 for me. It's yours, Florio.
I'm gonna go a little lower. I'm gonna say 7.5. Even though it was another good show, main event, fight of the night, second best fight of the night, Johnny Gargano and Baron Corbin, and then rounding out second best fight of the night was Carl Anderson and Finn Balor. Third best fight of the night was Gargano and Corbin. You had a solid match with Theory and Ali. Solid match with Elias and Gable. 2 duds and a couple of other here and there things, but 7.5. Another solid edition of Monday Night Raw tonight. So with that, MF, take this home, and then I'll get into my Tony's take.
About 7. I agree with that. I think it was a solid show. It could have been a little better in certain areas, but I thought, overall, this was a good quality show. So yeah, really nothing more bad to say. It was solid for what it was worth. Anthony, Tony's take, it's yours.
Yep, Tony's take time. Impact Wrestling, NXT Level Up. Let's get into it. Impact Wrestling from last Thursday night, as we started it off with a tag team match. Bully Ray and Tommy Dreamer squaring off against the Bullet Club's Juice Robinson and Chris Bay. Bully Ray and Tommy Dreamer win the match. 2 3/4 of a star. Decent match. Unfortunately for Bullet Club, they haven't been booked very strong in Impact and always tend to be the guys you turn to when you want to get someone else over, which is a shame because Chris Bay and Ace Austin are both very talented young men. And here's hoping Chris Bay signing a new contract will turn their fortunes around in Impact. Then from there, we had a knockouts matchup, battle of 2 former knockouts champions, Mia Yim squaring off against Taylor Wilde. And Taylor Wilde wins the match, 3-star effort, good match. Taylor Wilde stood out when she first joined TNA in terms of what she could do in the ring. And despite being out of the game for so long, she hasn't lost a step. So it's great to see her back. This is Mia Yim's last match with Impact for now as her contract ran out. Obviously, the rumor going around is that she might be going back to WWE. But then again, she could join her husband, Keith Lee, in AEW. I don't know. We'll have to wait and find out. But after the match was over, Mickie James comes out. And it looks like Mickie James was about to challenge Taylor Wilde to be her next opponent as part of her farewell last rodeo tour, a la Ric Flair. But they got interrupted by Vexed, Deonna Purrazzo, and Chelsea Green, as well as Giselle Shaw. And then Jordan Grace shows up, and it's going to lead to a 6 knockout tag team match on the next show, and I'll address that in a little bit. Jason Hotch, 1-on-1 with Joe Henry. Joe Henry wins the match. Worst fight of the night. This was a 1-star effort, little more than a squash match. Joe Henry was over with the crowd as they were chanting his name all through the match. I'd like them to do more with Jason Hotch, though, as I think he's got potential. And then this was the big segment here. Scott D'Amore introduces the X Division champion, Frankie Kazarian. And Frankie Kazarian relinquishes the X Division championship to Scott D'Amore. Option C has come into play. And on November 18, at the next Impact Plus special, Frankie Kazarian will challenge Josh Alexander for the Impact Wrestling World Heavyweight Championship. Solid promo there from Kazarian, at least in terms of delivery. Of course, it makes sense that Kazarian would want to be world champion since he's never won it. What still doesn't make sense is why no one else exercised option C since the last time Josh Alexander did so. I guess maybe Mike Bailey had no aspirations of being the world champion, I guess. But a return match from Bound for, you remember this next match was the main event of Bound for Glory 2020. It was Eric Young versus Rich Swann, and just like at Bound for Glory 2020, Rich Swann defeats Eric Young again. 2-star match. It was an okay match. I'm still unsure as to what's going on with Violent by Design. Are they going to introduce actual wrestlers under those yellow hoods? Has anyone identified who they are yet? I don't know. And then the main event of the evening, Matt Taven and Mike Bennett defend the Impact World Tag Team Championship against Heath and Rhino, the winners of the match, and new Impact Wrestling World Tag Team Champions, Heath and Rhino. They win the titles. MF, I'm going to do it for you. History was made. Unprecedented crowning. We have new Impact World Tag Team Champions. You remember Heath and Rhino? They were the inaugural SmackDown Tag Team Champions back in 2016. And now 6 years later, they are now the Impact World Tag Team Champions. 2 3/4 of a star, solid match. And while one can debate whether Heath and Rhino are the best guys on the roster to hold the titles, storyline-wise, it makes sense for them to take the titles off the Kingdom, as Honor No More were the ones that took out Rhino. It'll be interesting to see which way they go for the tag team titles from here, with the Motor City Machine Guns also looking for a shot. And the major players, Matt Cardona and Brian Myers, also announcing their intentions of going for the titles. And then there was a promo segment afterwards with Eddie Edwards, addressing Honor No More. And he called out and he chewed out PCO, and PCO finally snapped. PCO turns on Honor No More. He's no longer Honor No More. So the post-match was all about the breakup of Honor No More. At the end, it was PCO standing tall above everyone else. One would assume that PCO is a guy that Impact has signed to a longer deal, but you never know with Impact. Mike Bennett and Matt Taven showed up with Maria in AEW recently, so that was likely a way to write them off TV. As for Vincent and Kenny King, wonder which one of them stays. Either way, I can't say I'm too disappointed that Honor No More has broken up, though. I was just starting to get into the Kingdom. Eddie Edwards can hopefully concentrate on being a singles guy now without the group, with PCO now emerging as a new singles guy that the company is looking to push on the babyface side of things. So 6 3/4, teetering on 7 out of 10. Decent edition of Impact, with the biggest story coming out of it, the breakup of Honor No More. Frankie Kazarian relinquished the X Division title for a shot at Josh Alexander and the World Heavyweight title. And they also continued teasing whether Bully Ray can be trusted or not. Sami Callihan also emerged as a challenger to Eric Young and Violent by Design. Solid storytelling as usual, but the in-ring quality was lighter here than past weeks. So I probably would say about a 7 or so out of 10. Thursday night on Impact Wrestling this week, as it will be only 2 matches have been announced for the card. As it will be, and because we have that X Division tournament, because of Frankie Kazarian relinquishing with option C and all that. Just give me a second here. Because of that, Scott D'Amore announced there will be an 8-man tournament to crown a new X Division champion. And we're going to have the first match of that on Thursday night. Speedball, Mike Bailey, Trey Miguel. Trey Miguel is going to go one-on-one with Alan Angels. You remember Alan 5 Angels, formerly of the Dark Order in AEW. He's now with Impact. So Trey Miguel, Alan Angels to kick off the X Division title tournament. And the 6 knockout tag team matchup, as it will be Knockouts champion Jordan Grace, Mickie James, and Taylor Wilde squaring off against Vexed, Deonna Purrazzo, and Chelsea Green, along with Giselle Shaw. And that's all that's been announced for this week. So that's all there is to say on that. So that'll be on Thursday, of course. And Thursday night, 8 p.m. Access TV, 8:30 p.m. on YouTube and commercial free for the Impact Insiders. And then around 10 or 10:30 or so, it should be uploaded to Impact Plus. So with that, let's get into NXT Level Up. And we started it off with Miles Bourne versus Iki Manjiro. Miles Bourne wins the match, 5 minutes, 17 seconds. Not much to this one, though. It does let Bourne rack up another win, 1.5-star match. Duke Hudson, one-on-one with Bryson Montana. Duke Hudson wins the match, 3 minutes and 51 seconds. Just a slightly competitive squash for Hudson, as Montana got in a little offense before Hudson finished without breaking much of a sweat. Probably should have been a little more dominating, considering Hudson has had matches on main event. But this is about what you would expect. 1 star, worst fight of the night. And then the main event, Javier Bernal going up against Andre Chase. Andre Chase in 6 minutes and 49 seconds wins it. This was solid as our most matches featuring Andre Chase. The crowd loves him and loves the gimmick, and it always brings some great energy to the show. Fun little match, 2.25 stars, 5.5 out of 10. Main event was solid, and the rest was sub 5-minute matches with the developmental talents. Nothing bad as this show continues to be an easy watch, and by this point, anyone who watches knows what this show is about and the purpose of it. So that's that, and that will put the bow on this edition of Ridiculously Raw. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in as always. We'll be back with you again at 10:30 on Wednesday night. Wednesday night at 10:30. We got Wednesday Night Madness hosted by good old MF Michael Fletcher, as we will have NXT, AEW Dynamite back in its traditional Wednesday time slot. And then we will preview another, what I'm hoping will be another good Thursday night football matchup. The Baltimore Ravens squaring off against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Lamar Jackson versus Tom Brady. We'll see how that turns out. Thursday night, we will have week 9 of TXN Sports World College Football Thursday. Man, this season is flying by fast. We're already at week 9. It's amazing. It's unbelievable. We got about another month to go before the regular season's over. It's insane. We just started it, and here we are, more than halfway home. So week number 9 of College Football Thursday, that'll be at 10:30 Thursday night. Friday night, 11 p.m. with MF. Once again, it'll be the Cerebral Smack Talk. MF we will get into Friday Night SmackDown, AEW Rampage, and MF and his Mikey's Mindset will have the results of RWA Devil's Night, the event that he went to this past Saturday night. MF will have all the results from that. And then Saturday night, 10:30, the Week 8 edition of TXN Sports World NFL Saturday. We'll recap the Raven Buccaneer game, and then, of course, we'll get into the rest of the action of week number 8. Some good games to get into, and we'll go from there. So, and then right back here next week, as it will be, I believe, yes, this will be Crown Jewel week next week. We start Crown Jewel week, the go home week for Crown Jewel, for Monday Night Raw, for Ridiculously Raw. So, and the Tony's Take as always, and that's it. So until Wednesday night, 10:30, over on MF channel, Bracefay 95. Anthony Florio here for good old MF Michael Fletcher. And in spirit, the phenom Michael Bullock, and of course, always and forever, the First Lady Dee Dee Woodson. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it a Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed couple of days. And until Wednesday night for Wednesday Night Madness, you've been watching Ridiculously Raw right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube and StreamYard.com. And remember, my friends, no matter what anyone tells you, beyond anything else, wrestling is indeed actually real. For everybody who's been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long. Bye, everybody. Bye.